Welcome. This is JXC's first round. They had this on Easter weekend. I signed up for the Vet 30 Plus class. As you can see, I did not line up in the starting area. I'm just outside of it. I was one of the last ones in sign up, and by the time I got ready and down in the starting area, there wasn't much room for me, so I just lined up on the outside. Didn't matter to me much. Today was for fun. It was a last minute deal. It was what it was. We get roosted right off the bat. And that was the view for the whole first lap. The GoPro did not fare well the first lap. I would clean it and it would get covered immediately. So I ended up cutting the first lap out. This is actually the second lap now. I cut the field section out after checkpoint. This is when we got back into the woods after we crossed the road. And then we come out here into the parking lot section before we get back into the woods. But vision was a little bit of an issue. I was able to keep my goggles on the whole race, which is nice. I didn't have to stop and change them. I didn't have to stop or change gloves. I prefer not stopping on the race. I decided to bring my KTM out today. My Yamaha, it's almost ready. There's a few things I still want to do to it. I need to set my sag on it. Start the black. I haven't even started it yet. But it's almost ready for race season. My KTM was ready to go. And I wanted to give it a go anyway. I haven't raced it in an actual hair scramble race. I've ran enduros with it, but that's about it. So it's a 2013 model 300XC. It still has the spring forks before they changed them to the air. It's a good bike. I like it. It's the suspension on it has been revalved by Protein Corey, but it still has the stock springs in it. And it handles really well. The more I ride this bike, the more I like it. I don't think I would ever pick it over my Yamaha in a hair scramble race, but for an enduro and for today's race, I would prefer it over the Yamaha. The reason why that is just the KTM's a lot lighter than my 450, and it's easier to turn. So, but that makes the KTM at high speeds a little bit more twitchy. So that's why I feel more comfortable in the Yamaha in a hair scramble race. But enduros and tighter races like this, the KTM is nice. And plus, I can ride this 300 like my 450. I can be lazy on this bike, which I like. I'm not a big fan of small bore bikes anymore. They just wear me out. If I can be lazy, I'm all for it. As you can see, it was greasy and slick. But overall, today was a blast. It had a nice combination of tight single track, some open sections. You could also tell as the race went on how soft the dirt got. I think it's because this area hasn't been rode on much, if I had to guess. Some sections got so soft that when you let off the gas, it felt like you was on the brake. But there was some gnarly ruts that developed towards the end of the race. But overall, the layout was great for the conditions that they had to deal with. I don't think they could have done any different. And they didn't have to cut out much of the track either. Actually, I don't think they cut out any of the track. There was one section in the back as you was making a lap, the creek crossing, as you was coming up back into the starting field. The last lap, it got pretty gnarly. There was a bunch of riders down there stuck or waiting to take a turn. And my last lap, if there wasn't a spectator there to help me pull my bike out, you know, I may still be down there. But it was a fun day. Also, I tried the Tusk front tire on the KTM. I didn't want to spend $100 on a front tire on a bike that I don't particularly ride that much during the summer. And so I figured I'd give this $50 Tusk tire a try. It's their soft graded tire, and it actually did pretty well. I was impressed. I would buy it again. So I didn't have any problems with the front of my bike pushing or trying to come out from underneath of me. So I was impressed. It did what it did. This was pretty tough conditions to stay in a groove and keep going forward. So it did well. So I've caught up to Newsom up here and another group of riders, trying to get around them. Wasn't much passing opportunities. Seems like every time I would try to make a move, he would always have the better line, and I wasn't able to execute. Plus, he's trying to get around people in front of him as well. That's also something I got to work on too. I've always been bad about that. I'm afraid of committing to a pass with a rider that's almost the same speed as me, just because it's not turned out well for me in the past. So it's a mental block for me for sure, and I know I got to work on it. So out of today, they had 188 entries for the adult bikes. And out of the 188, I finished 51st. And there was 24 of us in the Vet 30 Plus class. I finished 8th in the Vet class. Not spectacular results, but I was happy with them. I had a good day, felt good, especially for the first race being back. Didn't get arm pump. Never really got tired except for the last lap. The last lap I was starting to get tired. So I was pleased with how I did, and that was my main concern. It always seems like the first race that I do for the year is a huge disappointment because seems like I'm gasping for air. So today was definitely better. I never got winded or tired till the end, especially for muddy conditions. I guess I'll take it. the overall winner for today was Nick Farringer. There was a lot of fast local guys that showed up for this one. I think everyone else was itching to come out here and play in the mud as well. Because I did not expect that many bikes to show up for a race that it was raining on, and they had a good turnout. Another reason why I like this bike is you can't really tell in the video, but this uphill was a little greasy, had some tree ruts in it, and this bike just wanted to go. I just wanted a tractor right up it. Makes it easier to conserve energy. Originally, I was looking for a 252 stroke, and now, since I got this 300, I'm glad I went with the 300. See, the second lap, the ruts was already getting pretty deep. Now we're crossing the road now. We're heading back to the other side, the other end of the starting field. You can tell by that guy in front of me how slick it was. If you got out of that main rut, it would pull you one way or the other, so it was difficult if you got out of the groove. Down to the first creek crossing. This held up for the most part all the race. The last lap, it got pretty deep as well. And I had to cut out a big section of the video here. Now, this right here, I just watched a guy go through this line, and he made it, and I got stuck in it. So I try to wheelie the bike, stand the bike on the back tire, because you can't tell in the camera, but there's a tree root keeping my front tire from going forward. And I tried pushing it up over there because I knew if I could get it up there, it would get out of it. But everything was touching except for my rear tire. I just had to drag it out. And leg exercises pay off every now and then, I guess. And I think that was one of their track crews. And I apologize, I did not thank him as he helped me get that bike out, but I was thinking about how many bikes just got around me, and so I do apologize. And I think he was a track crew, unless he was just a random racer being a track angel, but he was there the whole race. And at the end of the race, a poor guy looked like he needed a beer and a cheeseburger. He looked worn plumb out. I can only imagine how many bikes he drug out of that. He eventually got a trail around that area. But it was that was only the second lap, and already I had a hole like that. So we were coming up on the creek crossing before you get back up onto the starting field. Now this was my second lap, and there's already people down here kind of weasel my way through. They're watching everyone else be the guinea pig.
What side?
So I have a line that I'm going to try, but I let this guy go. He's going to be my guinea pig. And I would have thought this line would have held up, but by third lap, I think there's 2 or 3 other guys stuck in this, and I was like, well, that one's out. So I had to find a new way to cross it. And these poor girls here just get pelted. But that is a lap. Or most of the lap anyway. But thanks for tuning in and watching. We'll see you at OXCR's first round.